India was one of the places, the countries that I always wanted to visit because I love Indian food. One of the best. And I have heard that Goa is very famous for chicken vindaloo, and I'm gonna try that for dinner today. And it's been already 9 months, almost 9 months since I was crowned as Miss Supranational in Poland, and every moment was just magnificent. I can't describe in words how my life has changed from the beginning and the end of Miss Supranational. Well, not the end, but almost to the end of Miss Supranational. The best part is I get to travel around the world, meet new people, and experience new cultures and foods. And I want to say that India is such a beautiful country, not only the landscapes, but the people and how everything, you can really feel it's like home. And I have talked with Andre that we don't want to leave this country. And after being crowned as Miss Supranational, as Andre has mentioned, my self-confidence really increased, my self-esteem has increased a lot. And since Miss Supranational likes modern, fashionable girls, my fashion style had also changed. And I think that Miss Supranational really empowers women to grow and be a woman who can really have no fears in her journey in her life. So thank you so much, Miss Supranational. Thank you so much, Miss India organization and Miss Diva organization for this great moment in Goa and in Mumbai.
Like we all know, I'm one of the local boys who started as a footballer and then, went into modeling and then became Mr. India. So it's been an amazing transition from a footballer to a model because the two professions are completely different. And for me, it's something which fashion was something which I always had in me, and I knew I always wanted to be a model. But again, football was something I started off with, and it's always been. And I've always had that love for the game, which I will always have. But unfortunately, I couldn't continue because I had this very bad injury which kept me out from football for a long time. And yes, that is the time I met Wendell Rodriguez, and who gave me my first show, straight away in Delhi, and I was so happy with it. And since then, there has been no looking back, I did many shows after that, many shoots around. I did a reality show for MTV, and Mr. India was something which I knew, and which we all know, that if you are a model and if you are an actor, you cannot get a better platform than Times of India, Mr. India. You cannot get a better platform than Mr. India. And I feel this is where, and I knew, for myself, I knew this is where I was going. And I knew I had to go participate in this pageant, because if you want to make a name for yourself, Mr. India is the platform. And yes, to be frank, I drove with a friend of mine from Goa to Bombay, and I drove in my car. And that is all how it started. There was a big line in Bombay with so many boys, and I was in the queue with them. And then I got selected. I was in the pageant for 18 days. It was fun. It was a very, very tough competition, because because Mr. India does there are auditions in all the major cities. So there are boys from all the major cities coming to Mumbai, and there's a mega audition that happens in Bombay. So it was like a very big competition, and I'd done it before, but not in this profession. I did give trials for the India under-23 football team. It was very similar to this, but yeah, it's a different profession once again. So yeah, it's been very interesting, the transition from footballer to a model, and I loved it. And yes, right now I'm holding the crown of Mr. Supranational India, and I'm looking forward to getting the title home for the first time. And I'm working hard, very hard towards it. And I thank Times of India for giving me all the training I need, and I'm loving it, and I'm learning more and more. And yes, I promise I will give my 100% and I will get the crown back. I will get the crown to India.